welcome to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman, and I'm so excited you're with us today. We're here to empower you, your friends, your family, and your loved ones to be healthy and well naturally. And the one thing that I absolutely love about health is that you are made to be well. You are made to function at a high level of health and vitality so that you can be the best you ever. And today, we come upon more stresses than the body's ability to adapt. There are three different types: physical, chemical, and emotional. And we're going to begin to start to not only talk about how they're greatly detrimental to our health and to our life and to our big picture of quality of life, but also how do they affect your children's health? You know, the one thing that I begin to learn as I'm a mom now is it's so vitally important, the choices and decisions that I make, not only for myself, but how they affect my whole family, how they affect my children. And the one thing that I begin to ask you to think about is, what choices and decisions are you making for them? Are you making choices and decisions so that they get to be healthy and well in all areas of their lives? Or are you making choices, not really realizing it, that are setting your children up for sickness, illness, and disease throughout their lifetime? Today we're going to be talking to one of the most amazing chiropractors in the world. His name is Dr. John Kohler. And my husband, Dr. Evan R. Christman, and I have known Dr. John for a very long period of time. Actually, I believe it was around 1998. Maybe it was 1998. My husband bought his practice from Dr. John. And I remember that first day that I met him, and it was soon after my husband bought the practice, but I remember thinking to myself, what a smart, intelligent guy. And I also remember too, you know, I did something that now I would have cringed, but I remember Dr. John's expression. Somebody talked about taking Tylenol. And I said something like, oh yeah, well, you know, I don't take it much, but if I don't feel good, my dad said to take one. And I remember, if words and expressions could have came out of your mouth, I think he would have gone through the roof. And see, I've got to tell you, what's so great about this is that he taught me a great lesson in life, which we're going to begin to delve into. Why it's so important to make great choices and decisions for your family and for your health. And I've got to tell you that I'm not only grateful and thankful for Dr. John, but we're going to take a quick commercial break because we're going to delve into the top 3 reasons why it's so important for you to take care of your children naturally. And I can't wait for you to not only hear Dr. John, but tune into some amazing health tips.
Christman Family Chiropractic, a creating wellness center located at 2310 Churchville Road, Suite C in Bel Air, is enhancing lives through the power of a chiropractic adjustment. As a licensed chiropractor in Maryland and Pennsylvania, Dr. Evan Christman can correct damage from years of lifestyle stresses while educating you to maintain good health for your lifetime. A dedicated professional with a very special focus on children with learning differences and autism, Dr. Christman treats people of all ages: newborn babies, children, pregnant women, families, seniors, and professional golfers. Isn't it time for you to reclaim your life? Take your first step toward health and vitality today. Call Christman Family Chiropractic, a creating wellness center, at 410-734-4060 and let their experienced staff show you how to restore the flow of life. 410-734-4060 or check them out at restorelifeflow.com.
Good morning and welcome to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman, and I'm so excited you're with us today. We're here to empower you, your friends, your family, and your loved ones to be healthy and well naturally. And the one thing that I love about health is that you are made to be well. You are made to function at a high level of health and vitality so that you can be the best you ever. And today we're talking to one of the most amazing wellness chiropractors in the world. His name is Dr. John Kohler. Dr. John, welcome to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman this morning.
Thank you. It's an honor and a privilege to be here, and it's great to see you again.
Oh, you are welcome. So, you know, I've got to tell you, for many of you women out there, I've heard years upon years how so many people think Dr. John is so handsome. My mom always says, oh my God, he's the biggest hunk. And I've got to tell you, I'm partial to my husband. I think he's the biggest hunk. But we are here with the great Dr. John Kohler. So, Dr. John, tell me, how did you become a wellness chiropractor? What led you down the path of being who you are today?
Well, I think the basic principles of chiropractic just lend it to go into that direction. And when you look at chiropractic and the philosophies of BJ and D.D. Palmer, health and wellness is just, you can't have it without chiropractic care. So when you open up a practice, it's hard not to have some sort of a wellness practice, and it's one of the greatest gifts to that's been blessed on me, and something I can share with my patients, friends, and family as well.
And so tell me, I got to tell you, one of the things I learned from you was seeing children. You know,
Yes.
that's such a passion of ours. Talk to me about why is it so important for children to be checked by a chiropractor?
Well, I can remember when my grandmother was telling me about her chiropractor, and she had brought me into her chiropractor, and several other chiropractors I had met early when I was about 16 years of age. And one of the first things I had noticed was children coming into the office and being adjusted. And I thought, well, why? And one of my first mentors, you know, he just said, well, they have spines too. And it made so much sense. They do have spines, and they have so much stress in their world, you know, physical, chemical, and emotional stress that you mentioned about before, that create subluxations or misalignments in the spine that don't allow their bodies to reach their fullest potential.
And you know what's so important about this, which many people don't even know, that you live your life through your central nervous system. It literally was the first organ created when you were conceived. So think about how important that is to your health. You're literally living your life through your central nervous system. It controls every single organ, tissue, and cell in the body, sends signals up to the brain, to the body, and back again for full expression of health and life so that you get to be the best you ever. And we're going to talk a little bit about those stresses. What are those physical stresses that can create interference in that nerve system, which can create major problems within a baby's health?
Well, if you look at the first stress in a child, in an infant's life, it's the birthing process itself. Even in the best of situations, you know, the birth process is a traumatic one. And that physical stress can tend to lead to subluxations, especially in the upper cervical region. And that's why every child should be checked right from birth. All of my children were checked almost immediately after birth, within a matter of a few minutes. And I educate my patients on that, and you know, encourage them to have their children checked as well. Because that initial physical stress is just so it's such a beautiful thing to watch the birth process. But if you've ever seen it, you know that it's traumatic.
Yeah, and for many people, you know, that physical stress on that central nervous system, and as Dr. John said, the cervical spine, which is your neck, literally in a normal quote-unquote birth in a medical setting, there's between 40 to 60 pounds of uncontrolled pressure put on their head and their neck. And many parents will say, but you know, I had a C-section, it's no big deal. Well, there's over 90 pounds of uncontrolled pressure put on your child's head and neck and hips, wherever they're pulling them from. And I ask you to think about this. When someone holds your child for the first time, what do you always say? You always tell them to hold their head, hold their neck. Why is that? Because that's the most important portion of their body. You know, where do those nerves go to, Dr. John, within your neck?
Well, the upper cervical region is one of in C1, C2, the main contributor for the immune system. Lower cervical nerves go into the arms, into the brachial plexus, controls your eyes, nose, throat, sinuses, facial muscles, upper back muscles. The upper cervical region is so important, and every child, you know, after the birth process needs that upper cervical region to be checked.
It's so important. My child was checked within 3 hours of being born, and she gets checked once a week throughout her life to see if she's subluxated. And what happens is so important. You know, my child's healthy and well. Dr. John, you have 5 beautiful children. How has their health been over time?
It's been an amazing process to watch. You know, 20 years now in practice. My oldest is 18, first year in college. Just got to see the kids last night, and you know, adjusted them all. And you know, children have so much stress in their life nowadays. Not only the physical stress, the emotional stresses of school, of sports, and the chemical stresses that many times we can't control. So to watch my kids grow up and to be blessed in a practice of 20 years, it takes care of a lot of children, and to see other kids that I've taken care of, you know, go off to college. Last Saturday I was at a going away party for a gentleman that was leaving for the U.S. Air Force, and I'd been taking care of him for several years, and just to watch his growth. And it's just a great potential for kids if they have a spine that's being checked regularly by a chiropractor, keep that nervous system clear. I've noticed personally in my family's life that we don't get sick as often. And if we do get sick, it's pretty short-lived. You know, my kids, a lot of them play sports, lacrosse, soccer. We were outside yesterday playing basketball, trampoline, all sorts of things. You know, these things on a daily basis can get our spine out of alignment, and they need to be checked.
And you know, the one thing that I keep thinking of when you're talking to me, you know, we see a lot of children with learning differences, autism, ADHD. And, you know, for those children, they have so many different people taking care of them, whether it be the occupational therapist, the PT, the speech. And, you know, when it comes to that, they're seeing these type people throughout their whole lifetime, you know, once, twice, 3 times a week. And they come upon the chiropractor. As I always say, my husband, I think he's absolutely wonderful at what he does. And I've got to tell you, it's such a blessing to have a chiropractor in your life. But the one thing I keep hearing is, I see the most amazing changes. I watch children that come in that have never been able to speak before. They simply mumble. Now they talk. You know, I've watched children that weren't able to walk or crawl. Now they walk. Now they crawl. Now they get on their bicycle and ride on their own. There are amazing changes that occur in these children's health. Yet, at some point of the care, the parents say, you know what? Maybe the PT's working now. Maybe all the OT work is working. Maybe the speech is working. Maybe all these people I've been going to for the last 1, 2, 3, 5 years of their lives, maybe that's finally working. Maybe the psychotropic drugs and the medicine I've put them on, oh, it's finally working. And they completely miss the miracle that the central nervous system, through the power of that chiropractic adjustment, through what Dr. Christman is doing and other chiropractors throughout the world, that their nervous system was turned off, you know, like a light. And now, through being adjusted, that light's turned back on, but yet the parents can't see that it was the chiropractic adjustment and their body that did it. Talk to me about that. How do you get parents to make that connection that it was the adjustment?
That's, you know, 20 years of practice, that is a huge dilemma that I've faced, and, you know, going to many different seminars and trying to figure out how to educate our patients better, how to educate our parents better. You know, the chiropractic principle is so simple and powerful that sometimes it's just, because it's so simple, people just don't get it. If your spine's out of alignment, if it's subluxated, your body's not going to work the way it's made to work. The body is a self-healing organism, and if it's out of alignment and subluxated, it cannot heal itself. It cannot reach its fullest potential. So like you said, kids come in, they start getting adjusted. All of a sudden, they clear up with their colic. They start learning better. I've got children with Asperger's, ADHD, ADD, all sorts of learning disabilities, and they do so well under chiropractic care. And parents, it's funny because I just had one who stopped coming in for several months and then all of a sudden brought their child back into me because they saw the difference. They realized to themselves all the other things that they're doing, they're good for the child, the PT, the OT, all those things that they're taking them to, but they took out that one piece of the puzzle, and they realized that the puzzle of health fell apart for their child. So when they add the chiropractic back into it, that's when they tend to get the big picture, as we call it in chiropractic.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you know, that's why if you ask almost any chiropractor throughout the world, is their family being checked and adjusted? And I've got to tell you, whether they practice in the medically oriented mindset, you know, whether they practice in the health and wellness, whether they take care of kids, no matter what they do, you've got to begin to think, if almost every person within the chiropractic profession is being adjusted, and their children as soon as they're being born, then how vital do you think that is to their health?
It's amazingly vital, and that's another wonderful thing about the chiropractic principle. It's vitalistic. It's not mechanical or mechanistic. We believe that the body is self-healing, and that it was made to be healthy, and it was made to function at a high potential. So when you clear out that spine, the body is just, it's incredible, the miracles over the 20 years that I've seen in my practice and in my family's life as well. You know, children with an earache, give an upper cervical adjustment, and it's amazing. Some parents look at me like I'm crazy. What? Adjust your child because of an earache? Well, I'm not curing earaches. I'm not curing colic. I'm allowing the body to work to its fullest potential.
Yeah, when your body functions at a high level of health and vitality, because that central nervous system can send that signal, then the organs get to do their job.
Yeah.
Yeah, the brain gets to function. It's absolutely beautiful. We had somebody come in, someone we've known for the last 3 years, I think. And I'm hoping he's going to be on my radio show soon. He's absolutely amazing, a father and son that come into our practice. And the father came in simply because he had some knee pain and some low back pain. And he showed up to our workshops. We do workshops every week because we want to empower and educate our community. You know, take advantage of that. Learn great information about your health. We've been studying for so many years to empower you, and show up and be a part of that. It's so important. But the thing that's absolutely amazing is here this gentleman showed up every single week to the workshops. He showed up every single adjustment, no matter what. I don't care if it snowed. He was there. And he's such a blessing. But I've got to tell you, not only did his knee pain go away and his back pain go away, but he brought in his child with Asperger's. And his child goes to Kennedy Krieger. And it's absolutely amazing. I remember him, that little boy, as soon as he came into our practice. Well, about a month or so ago, the father comes in and says, "Michelle, you'll never believe what happened." And I said, "Well, what happened?" He said, "I just came back from Kennedy Krieger, and the medical doctor said that my son no longer has Asperger's."
Wow.
His whole life has changed because he gets adjusted.
Yeah.
Because he showed up to the workshops. We taught him how to eat and to feed his child. You know, he started to exercise and move his body. He and his son have lost a tremendous amount of weight. Their energy is restored. Their life is renewed. I mean, imagine if the parents understood the vital importance of taking care of their nerve system and showing up consistently to your wellness chiropractor's office. I mean, they'd be around the corner waiting for us to open up every day.
Yeah, in today's world too, you know, we look at people and they're so concerned about what they feed their children nowadays. GMO is all over the news. You know, there's so many patients that come in and are looking for better and healthier ways to feed their children. They'll give their children the best food. They'll all go out and buy bottled water. They'll spend expensive, you know, lots of money to purify their own water in their house. You know, they try to, you know, control the air that they breathe in with purifiers in the house. But yet some of them forget that they're not taking care of the most important system in the body, which is the nervous system. And they'll force their children to brush their teeth. They'll force their kids to try to sit up straight at the kitchen table. They'll do all these things, but yet a simple check by a chiropractor is left out. And there's so many, you know, so many people out there that are suffering in so many different ways. If they only would get in and have their spine checked by a chiropractor, it would change their lives.
It would flat out change their lives. And we're going to take a quick commercial break because we're going to delve into the top 3 most important, vital, so vitally important information that can not only keep your health and your children's health well throughout the whole entire year, but allow you to enjoy your life, do amazing things, show up for activities, be a part, play big, and be the best you ever. And I can't wait for you to tune back in. We've got amazing information to share with you.
Christman Family Chiropractic, a creating wellness center located at 2310 Churchville Road, Suite C in Bel Air, is enhancing lives through the power of a chiropractic adjustment. As a licensed chiropractor in Maryland and Pennsylvania, Dr. Evan Christman can correct damage from years of lifestyle stresses while educating you to maintain good health for your lifetime. A dedicated professional with a very special focus on children with learning differences and autism, Dr. Christman treats people of all ages, newborn babies, children, pregnant women, families, seniors, and professional golfers. Isn't it time for you to reclaim your life? Take your first step toward health and vitality today. Call Christman Family Chiropractic, a creating wellness center at 410-734-4060, and let their experienced staff show you how to restore the flow of life. 410-734-4060, or check them out at restorelifeflow.com.
Welcome back to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman, and I'm so excited you're with us today. We're here to empower you, your friends, your family, and your loved ones to be healthy and well naturally. And the one thing that I love about health is that you were made to be well. You were made to function at a high level of health and vitality so that you can be the best you ever. And today we're talking to one of the most amazing wellness chiropractors in the world. His name is Dr. John Kohler. Dr. John, welcome back to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman this morning.
Great to be here.
You are welcome. So I've got to tell you, I'm so excited he's here. It's such a blessing, such an honor to have him. And the one thing that we're going to start to also delve into is, what are the top 3 most important, vital tips for your children to be healthy and well in this whole entire coming new year? Dr. John, what is that first most important health tip so that your children get to be well naturally?
The most important health tip is that they have a clear nervous system, meaning that there is no subluxation in their spine.
And I've got to tell you, when that occurs, life abounds. You get to be the best you ever. Every single organ, tissue, and cell in the body gets to function at high levels. The brain gets to do their jobs. You know, I oftentimes say to myself, when that occurs, there's no choice but health to occur. Tell me, what's the second tip for their children to be healthy and well naturally?
The second tip, in my opinion, would be the food. We just got to make sure that we're feeding our children with the highest quality food, the cleanest foods possible, organic, non-GMOs. We've just got to watch what gets put into our bodies.
You know, I am a huge proponent for that. I am very particular with my child. You know, I started off her life breastfeeding. I think that's so important for moms that, you know, can do that. And I've got to tell you, many people will say, but, you know, I wasn't able to. And I tell you, lactation consultants are out there. They're there to empower you, to teach you. You know, I needed help as well. But that's so important. Why is breast milk so incredibly important for the baby?
Well, it's a great initial start for the child. There's so many properties that are passed through from the mother's immune system to the child through the breast milk that still scientists today are still discovering all the great properties of it. So I encourage all my patients to nurse their children for as long as possible that first year of life. And it's just amazing when lactation consultants can come in and help a woman, you know, feed their child like that. It is such a blessing. And it's an amazing thing to watch.
And you know, the one thing that I also think about too is, you know, after that, it's so important to put good food in their body. We talked about organic food. You know, nowadays I like to say chemical free, because you really, unless I think you know where that food's being grown from, you're not really sure what's been put in it, what type of environment it's been around. There's all sorts of pollution in the air. There's a lot of pollution within our environment. The other thing that's interesting is that in the mornings, I do everything I can to make veggie and fruit smoothies. It's something really simple and easy that you guys can do too. It's a great way to get vegetables and greens into your children. Every morning, my child gets spinach, kale. Sometimes I do green beans. She's not a big fan of that in her smoothie, but I try. Avocado. Why is avocado so important for the brain?
Avocado is one of the greatest foods I think God has made. It's, you know, it's a great source of plant fat, and it, you know, that fat is needed for good brain function, and you see a lot of great results with kids with different emotional problems when they start to eat avocado or add that into their diet.
And what about cod liver oil or fish oil? What do you think about that as well?
Two another, you know, wonderful sources. We always have to be careful where we're getting them because our oceans aren't as clean as they used to be, and we've got to make sure that we're getting a reputable, good source of that. But those omegas that are in there are just fantastic for heart health, brain function, for the entire body, joints as well.
And the other thing I do is I throw in apples, I throw in cucumbers. I'm really strict with my strawberries. They have to be chemical free. They're one of the like dirty dozen fruits, right?
That's correct.
Meaning that there's so many pesticides that are put on them that it's really not fresh and healthy for your body to digest. So think about starting your morning off with a vegetable, fruit, and smoothie. It's so important. My daughter has at least 1 to 2 of them throughout the day. Carrots are really important as well. So that's one thing to think about. Where are you getting your meat supply? There are local people within my area. Cindy Umberger is one place from Churchville, Maryland. Another is Andy's Poultry off of Harford Road. Rumbaway Farm up in Cecil County. Harmon's Market. There are wonderful places within our county that you can go and buy fresh vegetables and fruits and meat for your family. All you have to do is just simply ask. You can send me information, and I'll send that information back out to you. If you're listening throughout the rest of the world, I know there are places that you can go to look for fresh, local, healthy food. You know, when you think about what you put into your body, there's oftentimes a saying that says what you put in is what you get out. And there's a quote, now I'll probably mess up who said it. I think it was a Dr. Fred Barge, who's a chiropractor. But the analogy was, you know, if you were out on a nice hot summer day and you had a trash can, it was filled with garbage because there was just a fair in town, and you let that garbage sit out for a week, maybe 2 weeks, what do you think's going to come around?
Rats, bugs.
Yeah,
disease.
Rats, bugs, disease are going to come around, right? What's one of the most important things that we should do if we see that trash can out in the middle of this field? What do you think we should do, Dr. John?
Got to empty it. Got to get rid of it.
We got to empty it. We got to get rid of it. We got to clean it. And if we took that same trash can that was clean, the garbage was gone, what would happen? Would anything come around that trash can?
We'd probably have butterflies.
You would probably have butterflies. I love that. And so I liken it to your health. You know, garbage in, garbage out. What are you putting into your body? You know, are you producing a body that's toxic so that you can't function and lead a high quality of health and life? Or are you producing a body that butterflies want to fly around, right?
That's right. You know, I look at some of the football players, and Tom Brady, who had a great game last week, I think it was Sunday Night Football, and, you know, he's a huge chiropractic advocate. But, you know, I can tell you, I don't think he had McDonald's the night or the day before that game. You know, I'm sure he fed himself with some of the highest quality foods. And, you know, we're not all professional athletes, but we have to look at it that each and every day we get to make a choice. We get to make an option. And with that choice, you know, we've got to choose the better options.
Isn't that the truth? And the other thing to also think about is water. You know, pure filtered waters. That's so important. And that's our third health tip, is that water is so important. So many people, especially parents, they reach for the sodas. They reach for the juices. My daughter, she's never had a juice in her life other than real vegetables and fruits that I juice myself. Why is that? Why is it important to feed your children fresh water that's been purified as opposed to juices and milks and things like that?
Well, the body is composed of, you know, so much water, and if we're putting, again, garbage in, garbage out, if we're feeding our body with tap water that has fluoride, chloride, and who knows what else inside of it, that is not going to help perpetuate health within our body. So we've got to look towards the purified waters. Our ground source of water is just not that clean anymore. So we have all sorts of different options, from either going out and buying different systems for the house, or going out and buying certain types of bottled waters that are better for us. If we can cleanse that body, it helps purify, it helps get our kidneys cleaner, and also, you know, with the liver function as well.
And, you know, your children, they mimic you. You know, I'm watching my daughter. You know, when I reach for that salad, she wants to eat that cucumber. You know, if I go and I reach for something that's not good for me, my daughter wants that brownie. She wants that cookie. And I've got to tell you, from being in this profession, you know, this health and wellness profession, for the last, it's been almost 15 years for me. And for Dr. Evan, it's been 17 years. I can't sit there intelligently and say it's okay for my daughter to eat junk food. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Because I want to produce health. You know, I take her life so, it's so important to me. It's so important for her to be well. And to see her at 1 year and 3 months old, she's always been well. You know, many parents will say, oh my God, well, it's that time of year, the flu's coming. Oh, they caught the bug. Oh, they were around this. Oh, they were around that. Well, how come my child is around all sort of the same stuff, but yet she's well?
And I'm drawn to a quote by Claude Bernard, who was a French pathologist, who said it's not the seed, it's the soil. So in other words, there's germs that are floating around us constantly. And you know, again, I hear kids that are, you know, oh, I'm in daycare, you know, my child's in daycare, and they're going to get the flu. No, they don't have to get the flu. Keep their nervous system clean, feed them right, give them the good water, and there's a good chance that they're not going to get the flu. It's when the body isn't working at 100%. And that is because the nervous system isn't functioning right, it's not fed right, or it's not getting the proper amount of water.
And you know, the germ theory and his name's escaping me right now. Pasteur.
Louis Pasteur.
Right?
Yeah.
Louis Pasteur, on his deathbed, guess what he said? See, he's the father of the germ theory. But guess what he said? He said, I was wrong, and Claude Bernet was right. Yet, the perpetuation of sickness, illness, and disease, it works beautiful for the medical model. It allows you to believe that there's a pill, powder, lotion, drug, shot, or surgery for everything that ails us. And the reality is health comes from within. That you were made to be well. Your children were made to be well. And it's so important for you to not only the top 3 most important vital needs for your children's health, keep their nerve system functioning clear. The only person that does that is the chiropractor. Make sure you take them to chiropractors that see children. And my husband's been seeing children for the last 17 years. Dr. John's been seeing children for the last 20 years. You know, it's so important. You know, are they adjusting their family? Are they adjusting their kids? And the answer is yes. So why are you leaving your children at home? Why are you leaving your children at home to suffer the same type sickness, illnesses, and diseases that you are? Show up, be consistent with their care. The next vital need is food. It's so important for you to look at chemical-free meats, veggies, and fruits, and find local farmers and support them so that you can support your family's health. The next is clean water. It's so important for you to drink things that are important to your body. And I ask you to also think about this, the air that we breathe. It's important to have a beautiful, wonderful air supply. And when you get adjusted and checked by your chiropractor, that air supply gets to function more efficiently. Your body gets to function more efficiently when you eat your food, when you drink your water, your heart beats better, and the whole entire outlook produces health and wellness. Dr. John, tell me, what's the final thing you'd love to leave us with?
Well, I think the last thing I'd like to leave you with is just a thank you. Thank you for having me here today. It's been a pleasure. I hope today we got to touch a few people that maybe have never seen a chiropractor or thinking about taking their children or themselves to a chiropractor, and I hope they make that phone call today or on Monday and get in and have their spine checked.
Thank you. And how did they reach you, Dr. John?
Well, I'm in Lancaster County. I have 2 offices, one in Akron and one in Adamstown. And you can always reach me at www.kohlerchiropractic.com or 717-859-1250.
And thank you so much, Dr. John. You're absolutely amazing. And you're listening to us live every Saturday from 8:30 till 9 in the morning on WAMD 970 AM, WYRE 810, WKHZ 1460, WJSS 1330. And you can watch me live every Saturday on Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman on KHZTV.com. That's KHZTV.com. Take great care of your health.